Welcome to the Alcohol Minimalist podcast. I'm your host, Molly Watts. If you want to change your drinking habits and create a peaceful relationship with alcohol, you're in the right place. This podcast explores the strategies I use to overcome a lifetime of family alcohol abuse, more than 30 years of anxiety and worry about my own drinking, and what felt like an unbreakable daily drinking habit. Becoming an alcohol minimalist means removing excess alcohol from your life so it doesn't remove you from life. It means being able to take alcohol or leave it without feeling deprived. It means to live peacefully, being able to enjoy a glass of wine without feeling guilty and without needing to finish the bottle. With science on our side, we'll shatter your past patterns and eliminate your excuses. Changing your relationship with alcohol is possible. I'm here to help you do it. Let's start now. Well, hello and welcome back to the Alcohol Minimalist podcast. With me, your host, Molly Watts, coming to you from, we are going to go with a moody Oregon. Can weather be moody? I think it can. Yesterday, it was gorgeous. I mean, beautiful. And today, it's cold, rainy, gray. So we're up, we're down. We survived the 2 atmospheric rivers last week, the relentless forecast, and now it's just a little moody here in Oregon. Hey, if you would like to send me your own adjective to describe the weather, I would love to have some help. It's Molly at mollywatts.com, and maybe you'll hear one that you send along. So today on the podcast, we're going to talk about something that may sound kind of simple, but it is actually incredibly powerful and important. And that is the language of our thinking, the language of our thoughts. Now, it might sound a little abstract, but stick with me here because the words you use in your thoughts, because remember, thoughts are just sentences in our brain. Those quiet phrases that run through your mind each day, they are actually shaping your emotions, your habits, and your results. And today I want to zoom in on 2 specific word pairings that come up a lot during the holiday season, and that is want versus need and deserve versus choose. And we're going to unpack why these word shifts matter, how they affect your emotions and behavior, and we're going to tie those directly into those alcohol core beliefs that we talk about around here, the deep-seated stories that you have about what alcohol does for you. We're also going to look at how you can make shifts in your own thinking right now so that you don't just change what you drink, but you actually start changing how you feel about drinking. And I invite you to stick around until the end because I'm going to be giving some details on my brand new, mostly dry January experience called Mostly Dry January, the Daily. And I'm super excited about what I've decided to do, and I hope that you will join me. But regardless, I'm going to talk about it at the end. Let's dive into why language in our thoughts matters so much. You've heard me say this before, right? Thoughts create feelings. It's the foundation of the behavior maps result cycle. Your thoughts are not just background noise. They are actually the engine behind your emotions. And your emotions, your feelings, are what drive your actions. So if you're thinking, I need a drink or I deserve this glass of wine, those words aren't harmless. They are shaping the intensity of your desire. They're changing the feeling or the emotional experience. And they're making certain actions more likely, like pouring a drink on autopilot. And here's the good news. When you start paying attention to your thought language, you can shift it. And that shift can create an entirely different emotional pattern and one that leads to more intentional, more peaceful decisions. So let's look at our first example, want versus need and the feeling of desire. Let's say it's the end of a long, stressful day and you hear yourself think, I need a drink. And for those of you that have been around for a while, you know that I talk about my own experience with this thought. And in my book, I outlined how this was kind of one of those light bulb moments for me. Seeing the phrase, I need a drink, it was actually, I need a beer. But that phrase, I need, and you can feel it when you say, I need something. It creates urgency. It sends a signal to your brain that something is missing and that drinking is the only way to fix it. You're missing something and you need to fix it. It activates craving, pressure, and maybe even a little bit of desperation feeling, right? Needs are directly related to things that our brain interprets as necessary for survival. And that's very different than if you paused and said, I want a drink. Now the energy is different. Of course, you're still acknowledging the desire, but you're not attaching panic to it. You've created a little space between the feeling and the action. Need implies lack, and it implies urgency. Want implies desire, but with agency, with choice. And here's what that looks like in the behavior map result cycle. If your thought is, I need a drink, the feeling of desire that it generates is urgency and tension and a very intense desire. And the action is you pour a drink, or it might fuel that automatic drinking, right? And the result, one of the important results, is that it reinforces the belief that alcohol is actually necessary, that it's a part of our survival mechanism. Now let's flip it to I want a drink. The feeling is still there. The desire feeling is there, but it's lessened and there's some curiosity around it. And it allows you a little bit of space, maybe a little bit of pause to reflect and to possibly choose differently. Now, ultimately, we're going to want to move away from I want a drink, but that's further down the line, okay? The first step is to change from I need a drink to I want a drink. And because right there, if you can pause, even if you still drink, the result is still a small win. It's a step in the right direction because you are drinking with awareness, not urgency. And this change also opens us up to another question. Do I want the drink, or do I want the feeling that I believe the drink will give me? I always talk about that. We're usually driven by what we believe the drink is going to give us. And that's where you can start peeling back your alcohol core beliefs, those internal narratives that say alcohol is what creates relaxation, fun, connection, or relief. Here's the reality, of course. Alcohol's ability to make you feel relaxed, quote unquote, is very temporary and limited. That slightly relaxed or euphoric feeling, it only happens while your blood alcohol level is rising from 0.0% to about 0.05%. That is the maximum therapeutic level of alcohol. Once your blood alcohol concentration goes higher, those effects shift. You start losing emotional regulation. Your decision-making worsens. You feel more anxious as the alcohol wears off. So if you're thinking, I need a drink to relax, you're reinforcing a belief that's neurologically inaccurate and also emotionally limiting. Hey, it's Molly, here to talk to you about Sunnyside. If you've listened to this show for any length of time, you know that Sunnyside is my number one recommendation for drinking apps that help you change your relationship with alcohol. I've been a Sunnyside partner for more than 3 years now, and one of the key reasons that I chose Sunnyside to be my app of choice is that they are really focused on continuous improvement, just like me. And for you, it is continuous improvement of the app in terms of how the customer is experiencing it. They've completely redesigned the progress tab from the ground up, which makes it easier for you to see your progress over time. They've introduced mini infographics to help you better see the big picture of drinks reduced and how dry days have added up since you joined Sunnyside. They have a dry day streak tracker now for those of you that are focused on taking a real extended break from drinking, and they intelligently surface trends in your data to highlight any positive things for you, and like a steady decrease in overall drinks over the course of time. These changes and these improvements are something that Sunnyside has continued to do ever since I started working with them. You can check it out over at sunnyside.co/Molly and get started on a 15-day free trial today. Let's look at another holiday-fueled thought. I deserve to celebrate. I deserve this drink. This one sounds empowering on the surface, right? Emotionally, it actually creates the sense of entitlement. You feel like the drink is owed to you as a reward, as a treat, as a payoff for your stress. And that can lead to more impulsive or excessive drinking because you're not checking in with how the drink aligns with your long-term goals. You're simply justifying it. Now, imagine you say instead, I'm choosing to have a drink. This phrasing invites ownership. It invites awareness. There's no guilt if you decide to have one, but there's also no illusion that you're being rewarded by alcohol. And let's map out that difference, all right? The thought, I deserve this glass of wine. I deserve this drink. Feeling, justified. And it's an impulsive desire and a more intense desire. The action, you pour the drink, you are likely drinking more because you might be pouring it more quickly. You kind of like get yourself going on that impulsive reward path. The result is that you have reinforced the belief that alcohol is your reward, not the feeling of whatever you've accomplished that led to you feeling so stressed out all week. What you've accomplished all week is actually the reward for your busy schedule. But set that aside. Let's flip this now to I choose to have a drink. The feeling is much more calm. It's much more empowered. And the action is a thoughtful decision, possibly moderation, or maybe skipping the drink entirely because you realize that just exactly that. You know what? The reward that I want in my life is the result that I have of accomplishing X, Y, and Z this week. The result when you actually just choose to say, I choose to have a drink, is that you're reinforcing the belief that you are actually in charge, that you have agency and not the alcohol. Again, and this shift can affect your alcohol core beliefs when you practice it over time. If you keep telling yourself that alcohol is your reward, your stress relief, your celebration, you deepen the idea that it has power over your emotional state. But if you think of it as a choice, one of many, you start to build the belief that you are the one in control of your own emotional experience. And these aren't just semantics, okay? The difference between need and want or deserve and choose is the difference between feeling out of control versus feeling in charge. It's the difference between reacting emotionally versus acting intentionally. It's the difference between reinforcing old beliefs versus creating new ones. And that's why I talk so much about thoughts, about becoming a better thinker, about why it's so important. It's about why I created the Alcohol Core Beliefs mind map. Because when you start noticing and challenging the words that you use in your own thinking, you begin to rewrite the entire emotional experience of drinking. And that's where sustainable change starts. Here's what I want you to do this week. Really look and notice the language of your thoughts, especially around drinking. Pause and reframe them. Change, I need a drink, to I want to drink. Change, I deserve this, to I'm choosing this. And ask yourself, what feeling am I hoping to create? Is that something that I can generate with a thought, not a drink? You don't have to resist or suppress desire completely, all right? Desire isn't a problem. You just have to meet it with clarity and with ownership. That's how you start becoming an alcohol minimalist from the inside out. Now, if this episode has resonated with you, I invite you to check out the Alcohol Core Beliefs Mind Map, and you can find that at mollywatts.com/mind map. The mind map just helps you uncover and shift some of those beliefs that are already shaping your habits. And if you're looking for support this January that goes way beyond willpower, I would love to invite you to something brand new. It is called Mostly Dry January, the Daily. And this is not going to be your typical dry January challenge. It is going to be a real, raw, behind-the-scenes look at how I personally navigate 31 days without letting alcohol call the shots. You're going to get daily, unpolished video check-ins from me, real moments, real decisions. You're also going to get a private podcast with short daily episodes to keep you focused and motivated. You're going to get weekly group coaching calls to go deeper into mindset and habit change. They will be recorded, of course. You're going to get weekly strategy and brain lesson emails, and you're going to have a private Facebook group that is specifically for Mostly Dry January for connection and support. So whether you want to go completely alcohol-free in January or you just want to increase your alcohol-free days, this program is definitely for you. There are no all or nothing rules, no perfection required, just daily practice, honest reflection, and support to change your relationship with alcohol from the inside out. Because you do not have to do January perfectly. You just have to do it a little bit differently. And that's why I've decided to do Mostly Dry January, the Daily. Inside look at the background life of my role as an alcohol minimalist. And I mean, you're going to get behind the scenes of when I'm recording podcasts and what it looks like when I'm going out to the bar, when I'm watching a football game, when I travel, because I will be traveling in January. You're going to see how I navigate and real life action and real life videos of me navigating my own cravings and desires. And I think that that will be really helpful for you in seeing it in real life and what it looks like. And then, of course, all the other stuff, the weekly group coaching calls, the weekly emails, the daily private podcast. It will not be available to just the regular listening public. You have to have a special link to be able to listen to the private podcast. You can check it out at mollywatts.com/mostly-dry-January. mollywatts.com/mostly-dry-January. I don't know exactly how many people I'm going to allow in. It is not going to be just unlimited. I do not want the group to get to be too big. So sign up early. You're going to sign up now. Get ready. We don't start until January 1, but you can certainly get signed up for that program now. Until next time, my friends, keep choosing peace. Have a great week, and I will see you on Thursday. Thanks for listening to the Alcohol Minimalist podcast. Take something you learned from this week's episode and put it into action. Changing your drinking habits and creating a peaceful relationship with alcohol is 100% possible. You can stop worrying, stop feeling guilty about overdrinking, and become someone who desires alcohol less. I work with people in 2 different ways, and you can learn about them over at my website. Go to www.mollywatts.com/workwithme or reach out to me directly. Shoot me an email, molly@mollywatts.com. We'll jump on a call and decide what might work best for you. This podcast is really just the beginning of our conversation. Let's keep it going. If there's one thing I know, it's that change is way easier when you stop trying to do it alone.